Hi everyone. Welcome again to another interview with Team Zifcare. And I am here again as your interviewee, Shreya, the psychological associate with Team Zifcare. And today we have an entrepreneur with us, as, who I'm going to be interviewing. So welcome, sir. Uh,
Thank you.
and
Thank you very much.
So let me just tell you a little about Zifcare. Zifcare is a self-development app. It's about mental health and self-help, and we create content like this podcast. There's meditation, there's articles, all these kind of things. So yeah,
Yeah.
let's start the interview. So could you tell us a little about yourself?
Yeah. So myself, Kishore, and I'm a professional social worker. I completed my master's in social work in 2007, basically, and um, as a social work professional, I decided to work in the social sector, professional development sector only. And while I was in my education, I realized some facts which was a problem for a young people, where while they start choosing their careers, they face a lot of hurdles. And looking at those challenges, like not having information about careers, or maybe no role model around them, or not having knowledge about skills. Look, a lot of time, as a human being, we have been trained, like if we complete our education, then we feel that we are skilled enough also, but that's not the fact. There are a lot of graduates, or maybe masters, or there are different degrees people have taken, but they are still jobless because of some kind of skills are lacking in them. So that's the misunderstanding everybody, a lot of people has, and that's the reason people are jobless. So we try to, and our system, education system, is in a built in a such a way where this practical skills doesn't get mm, developed in the human being. So we had to thought of those things. So I personally gone through that, and thought of working on those things. So as soon as I completed my masters, I started thinking of doing something for young people, and the age group I thought of 13 to 25 age group, so to work with. So this is how I started my journey in 2007. uh, and I started working with some organization initially, and mainly those were youth organizations, where I got to learn a lot of things, as a how do I run an organization, or maybe financial, or maybe different functions. So I worked around 6 7 years, side by, like my I was working continuously, but the organization thought was going parallelly together. So I had holidays on Saturday, Sunday, or in the night. I used to come back and work on those ideas, and with my some of my friends, I used to get a help of, like how can we you know deliver the career sessions, or maybe skill sessions to the young people. So initially it was a voluntary basis, and then after some days I got a thought of, how do we run this organization for a long period. It has to be sustained, it has to be goal oriented, it has to be reaching to the uh, mass population. And India is a dense populated country, so we need to reach out to a different, different segment, or mainly rural part of India. So I started thinking, and then I decided, in 2011, to move on from the job. But my current that time the current company gave me leverage to work from home, or maybe wherever I am. So that kind of a leverage I got. So I was kind of working with them, but still got a chance to work on the bright future idea. So this is what my kind of a history, but it took 3 to 4 year 5 year to settle. The first project we got in 2014 actually. But before that, as an entrepreneur, I would like to tell everyone, the documentation, legal documentation, is very very important. So I think this was my about a journey. Like today we are in 2021, and we have around more than 100 employees in a bright future, and we have a functional department heads. and managing, without me. So every time when any entrepreneur starts, the main concern for him is like, how can we sustain your business? So with a proper structure to the organization, proper documentation, proper processes. So now we have reached that level where even if I'm not with the organization, they can run. But it's my passion. I cannot leave soon. Uh, so this is what is the journey all about today. Yeah.
Right. Okay. I think that's a very interesting story also that you have of your journey, and feel like it's to everybody who's listening. It's really inspirational. So that whatever you were so passionate about, you turn that into a career, because it's so rare that
Yeah,
some
yeah, yeah.
yeah, people sometimes complain and say, I don't like what I'm doing. My job is just कि ठीक है पैसे मिल जाएंगे, but I'll start doing something on the side. But you actually turned your passion into a career, so that's really
Exactly.
motivational. So, like as you are the CEO and the founder of Bright Future, could you tell us a little more about what Bright Future is about, a little more about that?
So definitely. So as you said, I turned my passion into gainful employment. The Bright Future is all about that only. We see a lot of young people or a lot of middle-aged people. A lot of time they rethink on their career, like when they reach at some level and they keep thinking about like, am I in the right career, or am I doing right thing, or do I need to change something? So why that feeling comes? That's the question mark. So maybe when I go back to my own that age of 13 to maybe 18, there I was like completely, blind, like completely blind. First of all, no, not at all, importance of education. Like why we are taking education. So you ask any aspirant or any young person or anybody in the school or college, if you ask them why do you study, then they will answer you because somebody is pushing, or maybe अच्छा होता है, मतलब study is good. So that's the way people answer. But what will happen with that study? That is the question mark, and everybody is missing on that. And since the Bright Future works with a first generation learner, like I am myself is a first generation learner in my whole family. Like my me and my brother has completed masters in social, so masters basically. So he has done his MBA, and I done my masters in social work. But first time somebody has completed this degree. So after passing my 10th standard, my father was 9th standard pass. So he got into police when in 80s actually, and my mother is 4th standard pass. So after passing out 10th standard, they were really, really blank. So brother, you have to go out, you have to meet people, you have to get information. I can just provide you some money, not good money, but some money where I can, like, if I can afford. Otherwise, that also you need to manage. So from that time, I started thinking about what to do, how to do, and then I met so many friends. So till graduation, so nothing was there, like what need to do. So I was in Ruparel College, Dadar,
Yes, very nice.
and so from there, like we had in 12th standard, I was in a coaching classes. So the professor was economic professor, and he used to teach very passionately. And if I do a bail business, how I'll do it differently than a common bail person, or maybe if I do some other business, so how am I going to differentiate than others? So that thought came in my mind, and definitely this whole idea of Bright Future came through all my journey, like because there is no knowledge of career and importance of education. So that's the first step. We work with them. We through sessions we take importance of education and the career mapping and the interest level, and then maybe the whatever required the career we think about, like what am I good at, or maybe what career I want to do it. So then what kind of skills required for those job, like for example I'm going to be a social worker. So what social worker needs to do, like a lot of young people they want to say, like because they see teacher or doctor somebody. So if we say, "Ki, can you come ahead and talk to two to three line uh, in front of people?" So they get scared because they just see the teacher and they say, "I want to do that," but they have not realized I need to have certain skills which need to be there to excel in my career. So those things are were lacking, and those things we as a bright future, career skill and then mentoring, like in that particular career, if I'm going like for example law, then how can I get a lawyer as my mentor? So that journey becomes easy basically when before doing anything we need to understand the background and details of those sector. So the internship is very very important to understand all those things. So bright future works on the career skill mentoring internship and placement. So this is a journey, and around that there are a lot of factors who interfere. I will say interfere, or maybe a support. So there are two ways, like parents, the school environment, and the mentor. These three things. And while my journey, I realized that the actually the parents a lot of time plays a role of uh, creating a lot of fear factor in the among the young people, because they just keep pressing like, you don't do this, don't do that. So those skills also, like when we were a child, we used to communicate. We never used to shy. But when it when we start growing, the automatically the environment started pressing us. So this parenting factor is very very important in our life. So bright future is another major work with the parents, where we help parents to how can we support your young person or your child, your own child, to build his journey happening or maybe happy. So that's what we do it continuously. And mentoring, obviously, role model and around people who keep like impressing us in a different way. So that also we do it. Like, so again, if we call it a this journey is a heart, and the maybe the mentors or maybe teachers or maybe the school environment is a artery to the heart. So this is how I can explain about bright future.
All right. Okay. I think that was a very good concept also that you've come up with, and I mean the initiative that you have is, I think, so important, because one thing that I really want to add, because I have just newly graduated, and you said it so, I think, so correctly, that people, at least in our education system, people believe that bookish knowledge is more important than practical exposure. And I mean,
Exactly.
yeah, and I've had the biggest example of that. So I just graduated 2 months back from and my college. In the last year, in my whole third year, whatever I've been studying, because it's been online education, I don't think I've studied much more than I've understood so much about myself, about, like, through my internship. So this practical exposure has taught me so much more than what I could have learned, at least in my third year. So I feel like what you said is so right, and it's so apt. And yes, sometimes I have seen my friends also and their parents, and they're like, you are supposed to go into engineering, or you're supposed to go into be a doctor, because hum bane to maybe bana. There's so many issues which also come up with that. But what you were telling me about, your students, about mentoring, about, choosing. So this brings me to a very important question, that, just in the last 1.5 years, so there has so much has changed, and everybody has, adjusted to a very new life, which we didn't know also, ki pandemic, ghar pe rehna hai pure time, we can't get out. All these things were so new for us. So, and I believe I speak for all students, and I say this, that there was so much uncertainty कि आगे क्या करना है. Do you want to do graduation? Do you want to do post graduation? Do you want, what is going to happen with 10th or 12th standard students? Nobody knew what was happening, and we were only getting so stressed and frustrated कि पता ही नहीं क्या करना है. Nobody's telling us what to do. So the students which you had in Bright Future, so obviously they also must have gone through so many things. So what were the kind of problems they came to their mentors, and, like, how did you deal with it? What was happening at that time?
So, so basically, this pandemic has got a fear factor in the among the communities. So there are like, so we think there are different things in the community. Like, there are two sides you can definitely see in the community. So we as a Bright Future works with a very dense populated areas like Govandi, Worli, then Kurla. If you see Dharavi, then that side, Kandivali East West, Nalasupara. So the awareness is completely in the sense awareness, or maybe the because of WhatsApp, misconceptions are a lot among the people. So there are two things. One is our lacking of awareness. Second is um, the fear factor because of the WhatsApp, or maybe there are different social medias people keep sharing, that two things. And third is basically the how people like young people are dealing with this. This is the question where we have asked them to sit at home, but the homes, like where they're staying, it's very very small. Like if you see the family of 10 to 12 people, or maybe 8 to average 6 to 10 people, stays in very small houses basically. So for communities, the lockdown and pandemic and all those things are really doesn't really matter to them. So for what matters to them is like basically livelihood. When if I they don't go to job, they will not get something to eat. Like so basically daily wage workers and maybe rickshaw drivers, or maybe the women who go to houses to domestic work basically. So definitely the parents are doing these kind of jobs. Then if you look at it, they are sitting at home, and a lot of young people are going into the mobile addiction. So even if the parents has phone, that phone, if we give them, they are not using properly. So with the bright future, what we try to do is we have shared a lot of good videos with them, knowledgeable videos with them. Then we have a 3 month program where we have a 3 hours. In that we keep interactive sessions, and apart from that, we have provided internet facility also. Like the phones are basic. So पहले हमारे पास वो छोटा, like we used to have that the keypad wala, and now it has become like more like progressive, but again the softwares have become more heavy and all. So it's difficult to have all the things in the phone. But those who are not not getting like into this kind of a programs, or so they are completely like in whole night they are playing on the different games and all those things. So it's really really difficult situation in the whole education system. Like the schools are completely closed. Even if we are saying the online education is happening, but that is happening uh, at the different level. Like those who are very hi-fi schools, like Adani, Ambani, and all those schools. So, those schools. But the schools which are like middle, lower income schools, or maybe BMC schools, it's completely zero. I will say zero. In rural villages, to completely zero. Not so. It's like very very difficult situation today, and we are like different organization, different people trying to intervene, but the basic need is not getting fulfilled. Like the food security. So food security is a basic need, and whenever you like talk about, like we try to place aspirants in the different organizations, so they have to go out, like they have to deliver. Like for example, lot of what kind of a jobs are coming now, like delivery, or maybe service based, or maybe uh, you know some work from home, for example. So those in those jobs, so a lot of time they need to have their own devices, or maybe they need to have their own laptops, or maybe internet facility, or maybe they need to have a bike, so delivery can happen, or maybe they need to have a license. So there are requirement has changed completely, but the we are not prepared for that. So these are the challenges. And again, like even if they get placed, so even if I want to work from home, my house is basically 1 bhk, for example, so I can lock myself in one room. But what about communities and young people? So one is sitting here attending classes, one is sitting here working for office, one is sitting here cooking, mama, like mommy is cooking. So like it's very chaotic situation. So again, like it is compromised at the different level. We cannot say so that's the situation. And in that situation, so whatever they get, like they get to see YouTube, or maybe they get to talk to friends, and what kind of a talk it happens, and what kind of, so there is no control over it completely. And even parents are not ready to deal with those issues. So I can see a lot of girls marriages happening in this period actually. So I belongs to Ahmednagar district, and I myself stopped in my family 3 to 4 marriages, from here, like, child, like calling child line and complaining about, and the the marriage has stopped. But again, like, they are finding me, where, who is this person, who is doing, they are, they are thinking of, when he comes back to village, we'll beat him. So so they are planning that way. So, but these are the situation. But again, like, there are financial, there are social norms, people are, into it. So it's very difficult to, it's a complex situation has created, actually. So from Bright Future, we try to do a lot of things. Like, we distributed last year and this year 50,000 ration kit to 50,000 families, actually.
Yeah. Oh,
So that's the thing, and we have trained around 3,000 young people last year and this year, and we have placed around 2,000 people. So, but it's limited, basically. The like organization like Bright Future and other organization, maybe a few, they can cater to few people. But what about, whole, mm, like, across India, we have around 125, like, CR population.
yeah,
It's really difficult to tackle all those issues without a government support.
definitely, definitely. Okay. So even everything honestly that you said is been so it's brutally honest and so overwhelming also that so many people are going through so many things, and it's not really about privilege, but we are sitting at our home safely and with clothes, water, food, everything, and we don't realize what these children or these families are going through, even though we read all these on the news and feel like this is where I just want to just like hats off your initiative that you are helping people around like this, because it's so important. Not just with your company, even the ration kits that you gave, and it's just it's so great to just help someone. So many people needed it at this time. People were struggling so much, and people were dying even out
Correct,
of
correct.
poverty, and it was such a bad situation. So I think it's a really great initiative that you've taken, and it's been amazing. But and I just want to just last question I have for you, because I think I've just like overwhelmed like too many questions to you, and it's just too
Yeah.
much. But just one last question. So this as an entrepreneur now, I want to ask you this. So for people who are maybe going to be starting their own companies now, or who are going to be starting their own initiatives now, so what would be your advice for those people? For the struggle which they're going to have, that one maybe motivational line or something. What would you tell them?
Yeah. See, definitely, I have observed a lot of young people think the first is like, if I want to start a business, I need a capital.
Yeah.
Okay. But from if I look at from my angle, it's completely not true. So you definitely you need a, some capital, but not everything. Everything is not a capital, basically. So financial support is not everything. So definitely a basic, so whenever they start something, they need to keep in mind the business and the person is separate. So
Yeah.
they have to treat that business as a person, a separate person, give them a name, give that business a name, nice name, and start treating them separately. So the first mistake we do, that business and the, the person is same, and that's where, we do a lot of mistakes.
Right.
So I would definitely recommend, be passionate about what you want to do and how you want to do. Keep thinking about it. How can I improve things? There is no right and wrong. You have to keep working on it. So I can say, I made a thousand of mistakes in my 10 years of career, thousands of mistakes. But I held myself responsible for this. As soon as you start, pinpointing others, you are finished. You stop thinking. You just concentrate on others, where that doesn't, that will not help you to land anywhere else. So these are the basic ideas. Be passionate. Continue what you're doing. Keep sharpening it, and be focused. So पैसा आ जाएगा, मतलब पैसा, मतलब today, I never worry about money. I worry about, how can I deliver quality to the people, or maybe how can I deliver uh, the emotions to the people. So these are very, very important things, and that's what, these are the few points if people follows. they will never fail in their business. Failure is, every step you have to have face the failure, and do not discourage yourself. Keep fighting.
Okay. I think that's really great advice because people really need this motivation. And honestly, like hopefully we are coming to the end of this pandemic now, and hopefully the third wave also doesn't hit us as bad as the second wave did. And people are going to be starting out new because it's a whole new life that the whole new normal that everybody is coming across also. So people are going to be starting their businesses, starting new jobs. So many new things are going to happen. So the advice which you've given, I think, is really motivating. And I do want to say, I just want to repeat this, that your journey, your whole journey that you've said, and even the initiative that you've taken is so inspirational, and it's so satisfying to see that people are actually doing these kind of things for people. So it's really wholesome, and it's been great having you, and it's been great that you shared your story with us. So thank you so much for doing that.
Thank you.